one of the most disturbing things that we actually posted recently was, I believe the New York Times did a video about what's happening right now in the New York City housing projects, where they basically describe them as a ticking time bomb. The New York housing projects, I believe like 500,000 people live in it. It's the biggest housing project, it's the biggest housing project in any urban area in the country. And usually there's only one working elevator where everyone crams into this one elevator. Nothing is really cleaned. Nothing is washed.
Right.
It's a very, very bad situation right now that I think that once it hits, because people don't, government doesn't care about housing projects. They don't care about poor people like that.
Right.
They're going to go overboard in the rich areas, but in the poor areas, they're just going to do the bare minimum. These people don't pay taxes like that.
Right.
And you're going to see some crazy shit start to happen if this thing starts to get worse.
I mean, it shouldn't have to get worse, but is that where they want it to go? I mean, sometimes they want the chaos. Now, just say, for instance, this $2.2 trillion stimulus bullshit. Is we really gonna see that money?
Well,
what's $1,200?
It's $1,200.
Bullshit.
Plus $500 for each child under 16.
Man, come on, man.
What's interesting about this one also, because we're going through some of the details of it, people who owe child support are not eligible, which I agree with.
That old child support?
That old child support.
I can understand that. I mean, you got some motherfuckers out there that should pay their child support, but
if you haven't paid child support, you should not be getting a free check.
Well, why are they giving it to people that's on the county that get food stamps and shit like that?
Well, I think they are.
They get $1,200 and then
that's it.
They get the money for the kids too.
Yeah. Oh, you don't think that's fair?
I ain't gonna say that because if people hear me say I don't think people should get it, it's gonna be another problem.
Well, if you're on the county, that means you're not working, right?
You don't have nothing. Yeah, you ain't working already. I think the people that's losing their jobs, that's homeowners, that's really out there in life should be the ones to get it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, people that make over $75,000 don't get anything, and I'm perfectly for that. I think it should even be less than that, because someone like myself does not need $1,200. I'd rather that money go to someone who actually needs it. So if
they send you a check, you're gonna tell them I don't want it? You'll send it back?
I'll figure out a way to take that money and give it back, and give it back to people,
and go downtown and get these people some blankets. That's what I do.
I mean, listen. I counted the other day. I support 12 people myself. This company right here makes sure that 12 people have a roof over their head, have health insurance.
Right.
All my staff has health.
That's the people that work for you.
That work for me.
Okay.
Everyone who works for me has paid health insurance that we pay for ourselves out of our pockets so they can go to the doctor for free.
That's all good.
Yeah.
What about helping people that that really... When I drive up the street, especially if I go downtown LA, I see people that really need it.
Yeah.
And giving them $1, giving them $2, that's not going to help them buy nothing.
No.
Not with what it costs here.
No.
So I'm giving up 10, 15, maybe a dub. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, listen, I definitely, wherever, if I'm getting food or any other services, I've been over tipping a lot everywhere I go because I'm okay right now.
Yeah.
And these people that are essentially risking their lives to provide this essential service like food.
Exactly.
Who are having these, like when I stopped on the way here to get my Snapple, how much for the Snapple? $2. Here's 10.
Well, they definitely need the credit.
Yeah.
Truck drivers. They out there delivering these supplies back and forth everywhere.
Yeah.
Man, give them credit. But people ain't doing that. That's who the money should go to.
Yeah. I mean, $1,200 applies to a funky-ass $1,200.
$1,200 ain't going to do shit.
Ain't going to do nothing.
But nobody out there that's having a hard time.
And you're going to see some interesting things happen with rent. Because now, if people who aren't working, they're not going to be able to pay rent. and now you can't evict somebody now. Like they put a moratorium on evictions.
Yeah, that's a good thing right there.
It's a good thing right there, right? But then it's not rent forgiveness, right? They're saying, hey, we're not going to evict you during these, let's say, 3 months, but you kind of still owe us this back rent. We're not just going to say this.
Oh, no, that's bullshit.
You see what I'm saying?
No.
So they're going to expect that back, but these people didn't work during that time. So how could they come up with their money? The whole thing is
behind.
Right. The whole thing is fucked up. And, listen, nobody wants to feel sorry for someone who has a certain amount of money, but all these landlords have mortgages. Right? So suddenly if you have a 100-unit apartment building and a third of the people stop paying rent, how are you going to pay your mortgage? You see, it's
you're
very
looking
much,
at that a different way.
It's a domino effect for everybody. Everybody gets fucked up in the process.
Okay, look at it like this, and I say this: if I've been on my job for 5 years and then I can't go to work now because of this, you should have money put away for hard times.
Correct.
If you don't have money, especially these greedy people that got all of these units and making so much money a month, they only dishing out so little to pay the shit that they paying. They got money.
Mm-hmm.
They got money. So when you fall on hard times, it should be understandable. But it's not like that here. People are so goddamn greedy, they want their money. Knowing that you sitting here paying rent today, $2,500, $1,800. It's $1,300 for a 1-bedroom.
Yeah.
If I can't go to work, I can't pay that.
Right.
But you're ready to put me in the streets. You ready for don't nobody care about nobody. This is the problem in the United States today. Don't nobody give a fuck. So why should other people give a fuck?
Yeah,
the rich motherfuckers.
Yeah, it's but not everyone that owns a home is rich. Some people.
No, I didn't say that.
Some people who own these properties, these fourplexes and duplexes or whatever else, they're counting on that rent money.
Yeah.
To cover the mortgage and pay their own bills.
Right.
Some people live in a duplex, and the person who lives in the same building as them, allows them. That's their job essentially. Like their job is to collect the rent, they pay off the mortgage, and they have a little bit of extra for themselves.
Right.
When that's gone, you're going to see a domino effect that you haven't seen before. Hopefully this has worked out. And we'll go ahead and just end the talk about this. But We're in a situation that no living person on earth has ever gone through before.
Well, it's going to be interesting.
It's going to be interesting, and I hope it works out. But at the end of the day, man, I trust in humans. I trust that human beings will eventually figure it out. We've had the Black Plague, the bubonic plague. We've had the Spanish flu. There's been SARS, there's been swine flu, there's been the bird flu, there's been H1N1. There's been a lot of stuff that's tried to wipe us out before, and we've always found a way to figure it out.
Yeah, they definitely ain't going to wipe us out.
It ain't going to wipe us out.
It's causing problems.
Yep. Well, since our last interview, Reggie Wright Jr., I guess said some things about you that weren't very flattering, and about me as well. We'll talk about that in a second. But I'm less bothered by it than I believe you were initially.
I was really bothered by it.
Yeah. So before we get to that point, you and Reggie go back how many years?
Oh man, the late 70s. We moved over there in 73. When we moved over in Compton in 73, his auntie lived next door, and his grandma and grandpa, them lived the house on the corner. Mm. So 74, 75, we were still young. I've been knowing Reggie since elementary, when he only a few years younger than me. Yeah, the 70s, mid-70s.
And you actually were the one that drove him to prison to start a sentence.
Right.
Which is not down the street.
No, it was past Fresno, California.
Way down.
Yeah.
Or way up, I guess.
Way up.
Way up. And I kind of went through the story a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently part of his problem, I guess he had a few different issues. One of them was that, well, Reggie was the one that linked you and I up.
Right.
Right?
Right.
After I did my interview with Reggie, I asked him, hey, is there anyone else that you know that we should interview? And he said, Mob James.
Right.
I was not familiar with that name. I went online. I saw the Greg Kading interview. I said, oh, I think this would be a good interview. I called you up. Now you're a regular guest on the show.
Right.
And I guess he felt that you were kind of giving me credit. You were giving white folks credit, but not giving black people credit. Giving him the credit for actually linking us up.
Exactly. Well, let me say this. I gave credit what credit is due. After doing the Vlad interview, and Reggie understood this, we done talked about it many times, when he told me, I want you to talk to Vlad, and man, that is a good interview, yada, yada. I told him, first of all, no.
Okay, so initially you said no.
Yeah.
Why?
Because I didn't want to, after Greg Kading's, I didn't want to do no more. I didn't want to, I fucked up and started listening to the comments. I didn't like some of the comments in that. And calling me a crybaby, I was pissed the fuck off. So I said, fuck doing interviews. I ain't doing this no more. So Here come Reggie asking me to do an interview. Man, that'll be a good thing for you on Vlad. No. He get at me again. Now at this time, we moving the shit out of my mother's house. So I said, okay, that's when I talked to you. He said, bam. So after doing that, I think Reggie felt...
And you ended up crying in my interview also.
Yeah.
So there goes the crybaby stuff all over again.
It's just, you know, certain things are so passionate to me.
I understand.
But, you know, talking to, you know, Reggie feel like all the credit is him. I explained to Reggie, every time I talk to you, I let you know I appreciate you. This street shit. It ain't nothing about, it don't have nothing to do with Vlad. It don't have nothing to do with Greg Kading. It don't have nothing to do with white people. I mean, you came across to me and we've been good ever since. Mm-hmm. I have no reason to disrespect Vlad because he never disrespected me. Mm-hmm. When Vlad came on Gangster Chronicles, I mean, he did us a favor. So I appreciate him. You know what I'm saying? Reggie felt that, or feel like his name, or I'm giving white people credit and not giving it to the brothers. I'm black every motherfucking day I wake up. You know what I'm saying? And I know what side of the fence I'm on. So, I mean, he shouldn't have said that. I was offended by it.
And to be fair, like, and I'm cool with Reggie.
Right.
He's been on my show twice.
Right.
I have nothing but good things to say about him, both publicly and privately.
Right.
I appreciate him introducing you to me.
Exactly.
But how long can you take credit for an introduction? You know, just at the end of the day, it's not like every time you come here, we're working through Reggie and Reggie's convincing you to come and he's doing all this work. Like, he introduced us. You and I built our own relationship. We're going off this. Like, you know, look, like, for example, Godfrey comes on my show and he gets a bunch of bookings because of the platform. Mm-hmm. I don't want a piece of that. I don't want him to keep mentioning that. That's cool.
Right.
He ran with that. Lord Jamar, he's been on my show longer than anybody. Brand Nubian gets booked way more because of that. That's great. Like, I don't expect them to keep mentioning all the stuff that happens to them because of a situation that I was involved with over and over again. Look, I appreciate the introduction. Reggie's welcome on my show when he gets out of prison. But I guess this whole thing is a little baffling to me.
Well, I think everybody want to feel a part of something. But why keep talking about... Reggie is my boy. I wouldn't be here right now if Reggie wouldn't have introduced me to you. I think it stops right here with my conversation with Reggie because I don't want to say shit and then people get a lot of shit twisted.
All the time.
And like I told him on the phone, and I can say this, I appreciate everything you've done for me. I appreciate you. We partners. We good. we shouldn't even have to be at this point. We shouldn't even be here. So we're going to leave it alone. We both good. We ain't got to go through this shit no more. I don't think I should have to keep mentioning a certain individual name to be relevant. It's over a year ago. So we don't have to, just like pretty much what you just saying. So me and Reggie in a cool place. He understands. And I don't think you had to attack me just because you feel a certain kind of way.
Yeah.
You kind of get what I'm saying?